So the ratings are in for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3, episode 1, or at least it seems to be anyways. And yeah, we'll talk about that, talk about what everything means here. And yeah, so before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. But let's actually just get into this here. So the ratings are apparently at 0.244 million cable viewers, which if that is the case, then that is definitely, I think it's lower than a lot of episodes in Dead City. And so, you know, obviously seeing that, you're just like, well, that's not good, right? But the one thing is, if you actually look at Dexter Resurrection, a show that everyone's talking about right now, and I mean, I guess the finale just aired, right? I'm pretty sure it was the finale anyways. And if you look at the cable viewers, it's 0.139 million. So pretty much almost, I guess, 100 million or a little over 100 million or 0.100 million viewers less than The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And so, you know, when you look at that, I just think that at this point, cable ratings really do not matter. So just a reminder, the ratings here are for US cable viewers only, and it's only, I believe, on the night. It could be like, you know, the day after or something, but it's basically like only cable viewers in the US. And so it's not taking, you know, any other country into account. It's not taking any streaming numbers or anything like that. And so I do think at this point here that this is likely going to be my last, like for sure, my last like ratings video, because honestly, after I saw this here and I saw that Dexter Resurrection was also, you know, very, very low, I do just think that cable numbers don't really matter anymore. I really think that anyone looking at those numbers now, it's just, they're going to keep dropping like crazy. I really think that it just means nothing at this point because the numbers are just going to keep dropping. Next year, they're going to be even lower. And I think it's like that for all shows. Like I even pointed out with The Penguin, right? Like late last year, I believe it was late last year, that show was doing, you know, I think it was like 0.200 or something around where Daryl Dixon season 3 is doing right now. And, you know, obviously that show was talked about a lot last year. So I just think that cable numbers really don't matter. And it's the streaming numbers that matter the most. And that's the thing. Streaming numbers just aren't out there, so it's really hard to even know what the ratings are for anything. And I just think that these shows are obviously successful enough to get another season. Like they renewed The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon for season 4. Dead City season 2, the ratings were around like 0.200 million or whatever, or up to 0.3. And it got a season 3, right? And the rumor right now is that it's going to get a season 4. Maybe that changes, but it seems like that's going to be happening early in 2026. And so I think they're filming back to back. At least that's the rumor right now. The rumor is they started filming, I believe, yesterday, actually. Maybe it was today. Maybe it was yesterday. I can't remember. But Dead City season 3 has officially started filming. So we'll probably get our first look teaser of that probably during the finale of Daryl Dixon season 3, right? So the rumor right now is they're filming season 3 right now. And then in early 2026, they're going to film season 4. And then I guess that'll be out early 2027, I'm guessing, or maybe in the spring of 2027. And that's pretty much it for The Walking Dead at that point, right? And so I think it is one of those things where numbers right now just for cable and stuff don't really matter anymore. And so that's why I don't really want to do another video on like episode 2's ratings or episode 3 and all of that, because it really just doesn't matter at this point, I feel like. Honestly, it's one of those things where, you know, the shows are obviously doing, you know, at least all right or good enough to be able to get other seasons, right? And I think AMC, the reason why they ended The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon after 4 seasons, and Dead City, I'm assuming is going to be done after 4 seasons as well. You know, I think it's because they realize that like the excitement is, you know, you want the characters to reunite and you can't push that off for too long, you know, and I think taking a 5-year break, right? And say that show comes out in 2027 at the very end, like that'll have been 5 years since The Walking Dead ended, to reunite all the characters, I think is like, honestly, that works really well. Like, I think all of us expected these spinoffs to get 4 seasons, right? I don't think any of us expected it to be like 5 or 6 seasons, 7 or 8. I know I was saying like AMC could just do that, but it was one of those things where it was really hard to really say, you know, what their plan was with everything. And so I think based off of what we're seeing here, The Walking Dead is likely going to be going on for, I'm assuming, that long, right? Because Gimplo's been talking about like other spin-offs and like so many possibilities and like all this stuff can happen and all of that. I just think that, yeah, you have to have a main Walking Dead show. I think that is the issue with these spin-offs in terms of excitement and everything, is that, you know, all these standalone stories aren't the most exciting because you like when all the characters are together. When all of them are together, the story is really exciting. And I think having, you know, all the characters together and having like this different story and telling like a final story with everyone, you know, I think is where everyone sort of wants The Walking Dead to go. I do think that, you know, having another show that's like 2 or 3 seasons or something, or maybe 4 seasons, you know, if they want to do like a reunion show with all the characters and it's like 4 seasons like the spinoffs, I think that would work as well. Maybe it's 3 seasons only. I just think the issue with that is you need more episodes, right? I think having 16 episodes, getting everyone back together to be able to do this here and tell this final story, I think would be awesome. And then afterwards, you could do a Next Generation spinoff. There's an animated series. You can reboot The Walking Dead. There's so many things you're able to do at that point, in like 5 years from now. But I think for right now, with all these characters, that's sort of where you need to go with a lot of this here. I think that would build a lot of excitement, for everyone, is we want to see these characters reunite. We want to see Rick and Daryl reunite, right? Like, we want that final story there. And I think that AMC, honestly, I think that's why they ended these spinoffs after 4 seasons. I really feel like they were just sensing where everyone was with everything. And that's most likely why. Because if the show went on for a 5th or 6th season, like, again, there's just not a lot of excitement. And I think a lot of people were just really wondering, like, well, when are the characters going to reunite? Like, when is this going to happen, right? And I think that that's just, again, I think that's why after they announced that the season 4 is going to be the very last season, that the excitement was there. Everybody was so excited, like, oh, this means they can all reunite. And it just felt like everything was refreshing, right? So I just really feel like that's what they have to do right now. And so the ratings, to me, I think as of right now, aren't that big of a deal, at least like cable ratings. I really feel like at this point, you just got to ignore it. I know that it's going to be posted everywhere. People are going to be saying like, oh, it's like, very, very low, this and that. The ratings are so bad and everything. But it's like, they're cable ratings. It's really hard to look at that at all. Like, all shows are really, declining in viewership, and the ratings, if anything, are probably worse than that. Like, from what I remember, actually, the ratings for a lot of shows were around the same, or if not lower. And I just think that right now there is just like something going on, I feel like, with interest in like watching a lot of this stuff, because it just seems like a lot of people don't care about, watching TV or like entertainment stuff as much anymore. And, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on. I think people are going through a lot of stuff. And I just think that if you're looking at like Fantastic Four, that didn't even really make anything. I think it just passed 500 million. Like, Superman didn't really make too much. Like, if you're looking at like the theater experience, it's definitely declining right now. And I just think that, I don't know, a lot of people aren't watching stuff like that as much anymore. At least it seems like it. Like, if you're looking at The Conjuring, like, that movie was so massive. Horror movies in general this year, I think, have just been absolutely incredible. And it might be one of those things where there's just too much content out there, in terms of like, I don't mean like too much Walking Dead content, because obviously there isn't really a lot at all, but I think that there's just too many shows out there. And if you're looking at all streaming services, like, there's just so much out there all the time that it's hard to really, focus on one thing. And that's why I think for The Walking Dead, it's not good to have so many spinoffs. Just do one show with all the characters there. Literally just do that. And I don't know if it can be The Walking Dead season 12 or if it has to be a different show, but I just think having a main show that is like 16 episodes, just stick to the same schedule you had before, that would be very, very successful, because it's just the one show and there's a lot of episodes. And again, like, everyone's going to watch, right? It's not going to be the same as like having these character stories split up everywhere. I think that really is the issue there with what The Walking Dead is sort of dealing with right now. And again, I don't think the ratings here are necessarily horrible, because they're cable ratings. Like, cable ratings are just dropping so much right now. And I just think, for streaming numbers right now, like, obviously they have an interest in doing more Walking Dead stuff. So yeah, I think to compete with a lot of that, you just, again, have to have a main Walking Dead show. I think, like, personally for me anyways, I think it just makes the most sense. Having all of these spinoffs is just, it's a lot to keep track of, right? Like, a lot of people just want to watch this show or this show, and there's just a lot. And the one thing too, like, this is a big issue with the spinoffs right now, is a lot of people like watching The Walking Dead and, being with the story for a long time. And if you're only getting 6 episodes or 7 or 8, then, it's over right away. And then you have to wait a whole year for another show. Like, that's the issue with so many TV shows right now. Like, if you're looking at Fallout, right? Like, Fallout came out April of 2024, a really amazing show. I loved season 1, but season 2 is not coming out till December. That's so long to wait for the next season. And so for season 3, are we going to be waiting until when? Like, late 2027 or something like that? Like, I just think these shows, or TV shows in general, need to come out faster. There needs to be more episodes, because people want that. That's all I ever see. Like, everyone wants either The Walking Dead to come back, they want 16 episodes, and they want Rick and Daryl to reunite. They want all the characters to reunite, if anything, and they want things to matter more. They want the characters to be like at the Commonwealth or just like what they know of The Walking Dead, not these random places, which again, I think it's really refreshing to watch a lot of these stories. I'm really enjoying season 3 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, but I just think that, you know, after this is done here, going back to it, you're going to see like this really big boost of excitement where everyone is just like loving The Walking Dead again because everyone's together, and it's going to be like, oh, this is why it worked. This is definitely why The Walking Dead worked back in the day, right? So anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. I just wanted to talk about the ratings here a bit, and yeah, I really do think that cable ratings now, you really do just have to ignore because it does not matter at all. There's just nothing there at all anymore, and I just, I mean, it's crazy that cable's not really a thing anymore, but like, if you're thinking about it, I personally do not watch on cable. I think most people don't watch on cable anymore. Most people are watching on AMC Plus. So, like, I know the numbers have to be in the millions, obviously, for these shows if you're just taking into account everyone watching around the world, right? I just wish that we had those numbers. Honestly, I wish that I could see the numbers there for all the shows. And, like, that's the thing. Imagine all the characters reuniting into one show. It really depends on what that show is called. If it's The Walking Dead something, maybe it's The Ones Who Live Season 2. Literally, they could just do that, right? Like, that would work. Something like that would be absolutely incredible. But again, I still think, like, even if they did another Rick and Michonne story, the ratings would be so much lower right now because I just think cable ratings have dropped so much. Like, honestly, that show would likely do around 200 to 300,000 as well. So it's, yeah, it's one of those things where streaming numbers are pretty much where it's at. And yeah, like, honestly, when I saw the ratings for Dexter Resurrection, I was really, really surprised with that because that show I've been seeing so much about, honestly, like, so many people have been talking about that. And the fact that that only got that, like, literally, I wouldn't say half of what Daryl Dixon season 3 got, but, you know, close to it. But yeah, that just really shows the state of cable right now. So anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.